Hi everyone, this is your favorite friend Jay or Jaylan Salah as you formerly know her, film critic at Geek Bites Nation, In Session Film, and Keith Loves Movies. Today I have the pleasure of interviewing director Vika Evdokimenko about her new short, Truth Serum. Okay, it's a hilarious short, and
Thank
what
you.
I know from it, seriously, is how sometimes in chaos you find beauty and you find order and you find humanity. I don't know, because I was laughing so much. How did you get
Oh,
your neck in comedy? Like, are you a comedian? Do you have like hidden comedic talents? How is the script so funny?
I wish. I mean, I actually the script was written by Oliver Schuster, who is our in-house writer at Fun Terrible Productions. And full disclosure, he's also my husband, and we've
Okay.
yeah, and we've collaborated on a number of projects. The first of which was our BAFTA-nominated short Amir, and we've worked together for the last 14 years. And so yeah, we've got feature projects that we've got in the works, and he is very funny in his writing. So I think whilst neither of us are comedians, we gravitate towards content which is darkly comedic because we ourselves love those types of movies.
Me too. I actually love British humor so much, to be honest, because
Oh,
like my
really?
favorite comedians are like British, and I love just British comedies all the way. And what I love about this one is the comedy, first of all, is from the interactions, but also all the characters are built in to just make you laugh. But it feels realistic because you find like reality is actually funnier than anything else. So I don't know, does it also help when you have like a funny script, but at the same time, the director has like this sense of knowing, like all the comedic scenes, all the comedic stops, like and cues and stuff like that. Does it help when you guys are all in harmony?
Absolutely. Well, I think you've hit the nail on the head there. I think for me, I agree with you that the funniest stuff does come from life. And I think whenever I'm directing actors, and it's a funny script, I'm always trying to, rather than going for the gag or like the one-liner, I'm always trying to find the reality behind the situation. And in finding that reality, I find that actually makes it funnier and it makes us sort of more lived in for the actor. But also to your point, I think the thing that we were so lucky with is having just really funny actors who were cast by our casting director Timothy Evans. And yeah, just great comedic talent, from Richard Gadd, who's since done Baby Reindeer, to Killian Coyle, who was just so funny from the first read through that we did. He totally nailed that timing, through to Umi and Olivia. They were all just, and Sophie Kendi Clark as well, just naturally funny people, even though they've done both comedic and dramatic content. But I think they really they're good at comedy. So thank you. I'm glad that you did laugh. That's good news.
I loved it. I was like laughing the whole time and not a moment of boredom. Seriously, because everything is just chaotic and funny and like intertwining. And there are like scenes where like, have you seen my baby? And it's like, no babies, only demons. And I was like, okay, because of all the things he's seen that night. I love that scene so much.
Oh, thank yeah. So that line was Lawrence Russell, who is actually a UK-based comedian. That was the
Okay.
who got that line, and that was the other thing that I think Timothy, our casting director, did so well was he really focused on getting great people for our supporting characters because I think some of like a lot of the comedy comes from reaction shots of these characters or the one-liners belonging to the secondary characters. So I think by nailing that casting, he did us a favor in making sure it was all funnier.
Okay, so I'm a female director, and I sometimes like, I don't know, sometimes we box ourselves in this nomenclature. Sometimes it's kind of important. Do you feel like you want to just go out there and explore whatever genre you want to explore, or do you want to specifically sometimes kind of like post something or just put a spotlight on something? Because here I felt there was a lot of feminine humor too, like the interactions between the sisters. Like sometimes the interactions about, like getting asked about babies, about having kids, about, like what's happening to your hair. So all of the time, I think if someone just put a spotlight on the things that happen to us daily, the questions that we're getting daily, as women, it's gonna make for quite a laugh, especially if you have great answers for that. So what I want to ask you is like, as a director, do you also look for certain feminine topics to talk about, or just to find the humor in them, or even to kind of like put a spotlight on, or are you just dabbling with genres without putting the fact that you're a female director and you want to talk about also what it's like, how complex it is to be a woman, I think, in this world?
Yeah. Well, certainly being female informs, my life choices, my directing, my interests, but I wouldn't like to be pigeonholed just into female topics just because I feel like as women we're also human beings and so we can tackle any topics as female filmmakers. However, I've made, my most recent short was very kind of female oriented in its subject matter. It's called I Don't Need Adult Conversation, and it was about the archetypal and dark side of motherhood, which
Wow.
remain kind of taboo in our culture. And that came from a very personal experience of becoming a mother and, reflecting on, what that's like for a lot of women. So, it's in some of my work, I have been quite kind of female oriented just because like, that comes from my own life experience. But for example, Truth Serum, I feel like it crosses that gender gap because, we had a lot of both men and women involved in the production. Obviously, the writer was a man. I'm a woman. The cast was pretty much evenly male and female. I don't know if it's exactly 50-50. I haven't calculated the percentages, but it felt, quite equally weighted. And so my hope was always that it would appeal to both men and women. And yeah, that the female characters would be portrayed in an authentic way, in a three-dimensional way. And, Sophie and Olivia and Umi and Miranda, I think, did a great job with that, our female characters. And so yeah, I think I don't want to be pigeonholed, but I think definitely being a woman informs my directing.
Okay, so you have Richard Gadd, and now the whole world knows him after Baby Reindeer. But when you cast him in the movie, I think it was prior to, of course, Baby Reindeer and all the fame. Did you see the spark? Do you feel like, I think Richard is going to go places, or was it just, like normal? You're daring with Richard, you're actor. I want to know how it was, how you perceived him.
Yeah, well, do you know what? So Richard was huge on the theatre scene here in the UK. So he had done Baby Reindeer as a play in Edinburgh, and it had come also to London as a production here. And so, he was already, he was very much on the scene already. And I think his play had already won an Olivier Award. And, he was a very accomplished actor and writer already when we met him. But he didn't have that level of recognizability that he does now.
Exactly.
I give full credit to our casting director, Timothy Evans, who who knew of him, who knew his work, and suggested him as the number one choice for the role because he just knew he'd be a great fit. And I watched a bunch of Richard's past work, and I thought, yes, he's so right, he would be amazing. And then yeah, it was so lucky that he agreed because he was actually in the process of writing Baby Reindeer, you know, trying to hit that deadline for Netflix at the time when he came on board our project. And I think perhaps what appealed to him was some of the themes which overlap with, I know, some of his interests in his writing, such as, masculinity and kind of the complexity of that, complex sexualities, all of that is stuff that he deals with in his own writing. And certainly the role of Jimmy in the short presented an opportunity for him to explore that as well. So I think he was quite drawn to the character, and that's probably why he agreed to work with us, even though it was just a little short film.
You kind of brought to my mind too how I loved all the male characters here because you played on themes that I personally love and I always like to talk about in my essays, like vulnerability, toxic masculinity, the pressure that is sometimes placed on men to act in a certain way or behave in a certain way. So how did you like work with your male characters to make them so complex and
Mm-hmm.
also so vulnerable at the same time without losing the sense and touch of humor?
So again, want to give credit where it's due. I think that was a lot in the writing itself, and we worked a lot on that script. I mean, it was basically Ollie, the writer, working with me and Timothy. Timothy actually inputted a lot on the script to make that script more appealing to actors, to sort of polish that dialogue, to make sure that we had those layers, everything that you said, that it wasn't, just two-dimensional portrayals, that they were very much three-dimensional. And I think all that script work did pay off. But then again, like having fantastic actors who understand the complexities of their character, who are able to bring humor to that. It's just a godsend. So I think my work as a director was, reasonably easy because the groundwork had been laid. And so, we had set ourselves up to do a decent job of it. And I hope that we did, but,
Definitely.
one can always do better, but we tried.
It was amazing. I tell you, like, I love this film so much. And what I want to ask also is like, when you work with a single location, like when you're
Mhm.
shooting in a single location most of the time, is it more constricting than having multiple locations, or does it give you actually freedom?
Do you know what? We deliberately wanted to make a short film in one location because it really helps with budget. Like, even though we had an ensemble cast, so that wasn't very budget friendly, but certainly having few company moves, really helps to kind of contain things and make the most of those shooting days. But yeah, it does constrain you somewhat visually, which I think we did. We were up against that. The fact, how do you make one location visually interesting? How do you vary up that shot list so that it never feels like, oh my God, we're just resorting to that shot reverse shot. And once again, we had a great DP, Lorena Paget, or Pages. I can still not pronounce her surname. She's Spanish. And, you know, she suggested that kind of quite dynamic handheld style, which did, I think, give the camera work energy and keep it interesting whilst being constrained to that one location.
Very dynamic. It was a very dynamic set, a very dynamic film. So I totally agree. Okay, so final question. What was the funniest scene to shoot? Like the funniest, like even you couldn't stop from laughing.
Oh my God, I've got to say it's that scene when you know Abby, played by Olivia Vanal, realizes that you know something's wrong, and essentially you know there's that line about, you know, I stole a candle from your bathroom, and then, you know, we pan over and there's just kind of the unfolding chaos, and that was quite a hard scene to shoot in some ways because we had to, it was kind of a it wasn't in that one shot, but we shot it kind of in one sequence to create that feeling of dynamism, and we had all of our supporting characters, you know, say their one-liners, and then it sort of bled into you know, some of the main cast having their funny one-liners. That was just hilarious, and I think everyone on set, I was watching the monitor, I was like, this is electric, I love it, the energy's there, we've got it. And it was just so much fun to shoot with that amazing cast. We were so lucky.
And we are lucky, actually. I was lucky to watch the film. Thank you so much, Vika. I love this film, and I can't wait for everyone just to watch it and enjoy it as well.
Thank you so much. Well, everyone can enjoy it now on Omeletto. It's been released there since this Monday, and we would love for all of you to come and watch the film and enjoy
Yeah,
it.
enjoy, write about it, share it, just tell your
And
opinion
share
to
it, of course.
Vika.
Yeah.
Exactly. And just thank you so much, Vika. It was amazing talking to you.
So nice to talk to you. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Okay, goodbye.
Bye. Bye.